Once again, good morning. I'm Natalia Salter. I am your FMLA, which stands for Family and Medical Leave Act, and Wellness Specialist here at CES. And I have with us Mr. Carl Linzer. Carl is the Employee Wellness Coordinator at University of Arkansas Little Rock, and he has been there since November of 2015. Carl has his bachelor's in business administration and his master's in exercise science from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. He was formerly the wellness director at Hendrix College for 10 years and the fitness manager at Conway Regional Health and Fitness Center for 12 years. Carl lives in Conway and is married with 2 children, and he enjoys staying active with running, teaching indoor cycling, playing ping pong, weightlifting, and reading. So once again, I would like to present to you Mr. Carl Linzer. Carl.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here this morning. My first Zoom session, so I'm honored to be here. I thank the staff here for allowing me to present some good information that I think you'll find informative and helpful. Typically, as a wellness coordinator, what I do is present a lot of educational sessions to the faculty and staff at UA Little Rock. And typically, this talk I'll be giving you guys today is on weight loss, and it's usually in January, like a resolution talk. But I think this topic is so popular, I could do it every month, and no one would be bored with it. I presented this to many of the faculty and staff this year, and they loved it. So I thought I'll bring it to you guys and have a Zoom session for everybody here. So the weight loss, I call it the weight loss war. And with every war, there's battles that make up a war. And every day, I think there's a battle with many folks as far as losing weight. With 60% of the population in this country being overweight or obese, it's a major epidemic, and I guess it gives me job security in that way, because there's always a market to go after and try to improve the health of people. And that's what I like doing at my job, is trying to help people with weight loss or preventing injuries or getting more fit. And so I picked this topic today. I think you'll find interesting, and it's practical for a lot of people, because I'll give you more tips on basically how to lose the weight, but in a safe and effective way. There's different ways you can lose it, but what I'll present to you is ways you can do it safely and effectively. So we'll get started. I like to start off this with a quote. We'll go back to the Greeks of old times, back to Aristotle. And he said, life basically is motion. And that's what he said back way 300 BC or whatever. Life is about motion and about moving. We've got 625 muscles in our body, and they were designed and created to move. And when you move the body, good things happen. And he had it right way a long time ago. The Greeks were smart. They knew about it back in the Olympic Games and onward, about taking care of yourself, your mind and your body together. And also, I'll give you a quote too from Dr. George Sheehan. He was a famous runner and a physician, and what he basically stated was to restore your life to your body, to defeat aging, to regain that youth you still have, you got to get moving. And he was a big runner, but there's other ways to do good things for your body physically. You can walk, you can cycle, you can swim, you can do Zumba classes. Anything about motion is going to help you get better. There's one quote that I like to use is basically this, and this is an easy one to remember, is when you're moving, you're improving. Repeat, when you're moving, you're improving. And that's a good thing to remember, because life is about motion. And I'll explain how it pertains to your health and weight loss as well. So what I'm going to do is basically start with some tips. There's about 10 tips I'm going to give you. They're easy to follow, and I make them pretty simple. I like the KISS principle, and I think you'll enjoy this. The first is a math lesson, is 3,500. That's the number of calories in a pound of fat tissue. 3,500 in a pound of fat. So what does that equate to in other terms? Well, in activity terms, you'd have to run 26 miles, a marathon, to burn off 1 pound of fat tissue, which seems pretty daunting. But I'll explain it's not that bad. I'll give you examples later, how you can use that to lose weight. Also, you can look at 7 Big Macs. That's basically 3,500 calories. You can have one of those big bags of M&Ms. That's about 3,500 calories, those mega bags of M&Ms. So you put it in those equations, or you can have about 12 nice cake donuts, whatever. It's a lot of calories. However, there's hope on the horizon. I'll give you hope in a few minutes here. The basic premise I can give you on this talk is to lose the weight, you've got to basically expend more calories than you ingest or take in. And it's not just the calories you're taking in from solid matter, it's from liquids. And I think a lot of the problems we have is like soft drinks and those sugary flavored waters to whatever, they add up in calories too. But if you got to expend more than you take in, there's like a scale, and you've got to get that scale tilted in your favor in order to lose weight safely and effectively. And I'll jump ahead, but typically, you guys, 1 to 2 pounds a week is what we recommend for safe and effective weight loss. 1 or 2 pounds a week it's like a slow and steady pace usually wins the race, is the quote I've heard for a long time ago. It's like the tortoise and the hare. So you want to be that tortoise, a slow, steady pace. You're going to lose the weight that way. Losing 4, 5, 6 pounds a week, it's mostly water weight, and it's not going to be the weight you want to lose. Another question I'm going to pose to you is this. When you've lost weight in the past, and some of you have, some of you haven't, what is it that you're losing? Are you losing fat weight, or are you losing muscle weight? Because pounds are pounds. What you want to do is make sure you lose fat weight and not muscle weight. And there's a difference. That's why I suggest that people, if you have access to like a fitness facility with professional staff, get your body fat measured, and that way they can tell you how much fat you've got, how much lean tissue you have, and then from there you can get a plan of how much weight you should be at based on a certain body fat percent. BMI is not as strong as doing, or as significant as looking at body fat percent. But that's a whole nother lecture. I got to get back on track here. I'm drifting. Excuse me. So I get carried away. So excuse those little drifts I have. But there's I've been a semester to cram into 1 hour or less. So I apologize for trying to when I drift off a little bit. But again, the same thing I mentioned before. Get more active. Find ways to be active and reduce the calories that are coming into you. That's the whole premise of what we'll be talking about. And there's ways to do this. Look at this, a plan of 250 calories a day of activity. Let's start with that. And there's different ways you can do that, but if you just put that as a daily goal, is to burn 250, that's basically walking for maybe 40 minutes, a brisk walk for about 40 minutes will burn 250 calories. And the good news is this. Well, in the old days, when I was in like graduate school in the early days of my career, it used to be 30 minutes or 40 minutes at one block of time, or you're a kind of a failure, But now the new research says 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. Put that 30 or 40 minute goal into chunks of 10 or 15, you'd still get the same benefits as doing it one block of time at 30 or 40 minutes. So that is much less intimidating for a lot of individuals if they don't have the time to do a 40-minute walk or a 30-minute walk. Just break it into chunks of 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's helpful. Walking is a great calorie burner. We've been doing it since we've been 1 year old. Anybody can do it pretty much. And the key is walk quickly. If you're going to walk, it helps to walk briskly. You can do Zumba for a half hour. That's another way to burn calories. It's fun. It's dancing. It's fun to do. A lot of people are hooked on that, which is great. It's, again, finding ways that something that you like to do is essential. You won't see me in Zumba class. I have no coordination, so I just stick to running. That's okay. Jogging for about 25 minutes. That'll burn about 250 calories. Jogging is not meant for everybody. That's why a lot of people think, oh man, I can't run. They feel like less than a person who runs. You can walk and get the same health benefits as someone who runs or does triathlons or runs marathons because you're moving your body and you're burning those calories. That's what it's all about. Finding something you like to do is critical. Elliptical workouts are great if you've got access to these things in a fitness facility or your home if you bought one. They burn a lot of calories because they're weight bearing, which is helpful. You use your leg muscles, your glutes, your calves, your quadriceps, your hamstrings. You get the heart rate elevated. You burn a lot of calories for the time invested as well. So some of the options, low impact, doesn't bang up the knees or hips at all. So that's a good alternative. So those are some ideas. Now we're going to drift off and go back to the food thing. That's how to negate the calories from solids and liquids. Well, here's some examples of basically I tell people, just watch out for the soft drinks and the high calorie coffees, the soft drinks, they are loaded with calories. You realize some of those coffees you drink at wherever, I won't name names here, but they're 300-400 calories for some of those things. It's amazing. And for $4, you've got at least probably 300 or 400 calories in some of those things. Dr. Pepper's, Mountain Dews, Coke, so soft drinks, a 20-ounce bottle is 250 calories. And that's about 2 miles, I repeat, about 2 miles of running is in that 20-ounce bottle of Pepper or Mountain Dew. So those are some examples of that. There's some more coming up. Some other choices here. You want to probably stay away from, at least limit the access. That nice donut, that's about 250 calories for a cake donut. I said the Dr. Pepper is about 250. A Hershey bar, a chocolate bar, about 250 calories. ice cream, just a half a cup is 175 calories. That's a lot. It's not fair, but it's reality. That little bag of Fritos is 320 calories that you like to have at lunch, whatever, because it's all fat and grease, and those calories add up tremendously. So again, you can take in, here's a good example. Let's go, instead of eating that donut, if you just skip the donut or skip that Dr. Pepper or whatever, you've saved yourself 250 calories. So that's good. Then if you walk or jog or elliptical for 250 calories, you've met your goal for the day. It's just saying no to some of those treats you like, but also getting the exercise in. You'll get that 500 a day plan. That's all I'll be mentioning here is the math 101. It's how to lose that in a week. If you negate 500 calories per day for 7 days, that's theoretically a pound a week. So like I said before, the safe and effective goal is 1 or 2 pounds a week is safe. So basically, if a pound a week would be 250 calories of exercise and not eating 250 calories of extra stuff you don't need, or even 500 a day times 2 would be 2 pounds a week. So it gets this thing, exercise more, reduce calories coming in. Another example I thought too for how to reduce those calories, because temptation's everywhere. I think the exercise part is easier than the watching the food intake, because you get your exercise in, hey, it's done 30, 40 minutes, good, or more, but obviously it's better. But the calories are the potential calories that you don't want are with you all the time. They're in the refrigerator. They're in that vending machine down the hallway. They're saying, come, feed the dollar in there and get that candy bar. So there's temptation all the time. So it's hard to, it's the willpower and discipline. That's the hard part, I think, of taking in calories, because we're so used to it, and it's hard to change, habits. But if you're disciplined, you got a game plan, it'll work. Another way I look at this thing is, again, the calorie balance. The BMR is your basal metabolic rate. That's your internal engine speed, like your idling speed, like in a car. You think of your body's engine like a vehicle. It's the RPM, how fast it's idling. When you lose fat weight and get more muscle, that idling speed goes faster and faster, which is great. 24/7, that thing, your engine's burning faster. You're burning more calories while you're sleeping, while you're sitting there watching a Zoom session right now, whatever. You'll be burning more calories, which is great. Then you add on your actual structured physical activity, and that's how you get the calorie burn going, the expenditure. That's got to be greater than what you take in with food and drink. So that's what it gets down. And that's the simplest way I can put it, is activity with your basal metabolic rate added to your physical activity has got to be more than the calories that you take in. So that's kind of what it's all about. Then you got to set a realistic goal. This is really critical for a lot of the clients that I deal with, is they have unrealistic goals. Like the example I give is, the wedding coming up, or, some of the ladies, they'll have a wedding coming up in 3 months, and they want to lose 40 pounds in 2 or 3 months. I go, that's not realistic. You got to really look at 1 or 2 pounds a week and get a goal and then get a timeline. So I think, okay, if I want to lose X amount of pounds, look back on the calendar and think, okay, 1 or 2 pounds a week, realistically, what can I do, or how much can I think can I lose to meet that goal? That way you don't set yourself up for failure, because I see it happening a lot, and it's really frustrating when people, they want it, they're really motivated, but it's not realistic. So they think, oh, I'm a failure, I didn't lose this many pounds by this date, and they get all, frustrated. So be realistic. It takes time. The example I can give is, like in a year, who would not want to lose 40 pounds a year? There's many of you think that may want to lose 40 pounds in a year. I think that's a lot of weight. That's 2 20-pound dumbbells in each hand. That's a lot of weight. Put it in those terms. Or several sacks of flour, like 8 5-pound things, 8-pound sacks of sugar, whatever you want to look at. It's heavy. Well, if you lose not even a pound a week, in 1 year, you can get there. 0.8 pounds of weight loss, fat loss a week, you'll get there in 1 year. Again, having that big goal of 40 pounds, but breaking it down into smaller goals per week, that's how you get there. So it's a very good way to have a strategy and a game plan. I think that makes a big difference, is having a plan, not just saying, well, I'm just going to lose weight. Well, how much you want to lose and how are you going to do it? And I still refer to that example of, if you access to getting your body, a lot of people don't want to get this done, but the body fat measurement, they can see, okay, you're at 25% body fat, you want to get down to 18%, or you're at 40%, let's get you down to 30%. And then I've done this with a lot of my clients, and it's really helpful to get a game plan, how much weight to break it down every several months, what you should be at. So that's a whole nother lecture. So again, reward yourself with something good, not with food, probably. When you get down, meet those small goals, maybe go to a concert or something, music, clothing, whatever. That all of a sudden that size 14 is not fitting anymore. You're down to a 12. Hallelujah, amen. buy yourself that size 12 dress with it. Something like that may work. Time for a break, time for some questions and answers. You give the questions, I'll give the answers. So open them up, and we're going to start with our studio here. Natalia, give me something, I'm ready. Oh, not yet, sorry. I'm ahead. Here's the question, I got to give you the question first. What do you think the best exercise program is for optimal health and for weight loss? That is the question of the day. What do you think it is? Natalia, what would your answer be for, the best thing to do that's, optimal for weight loss and health as well?
Me personally, I'm going to want to do something like walking because it's new to me, but probably something more, a little more physical, like maybe like Zumba, like you said before, the Zumba class.
Okay, 2 points for each answer. Those are good. Those are potential. Those are good ones because you're moving, right? I mentioned that before, so you're listening. That's right. Those are good. There's a lot of, what it gets down to is, things you want to do or you like to do. That's kind of the best one. But I'll give you some ideas in a second. But, some people say, they want to run, they want to swim. That's all I want to do is swim or run. That's good. Or some people just want to lift weights. So that's as well. But, I'll give you a really good one. Did you have any coming in here, Sandra?
Now we have one that says walking.
Yes, very good. Like I said, that's something that's simple. Put a pair of shoes on and out the door you go. And it burns a lot of calories, and there's not much stress on the knees and the hips as well, or the back. So that's a very good one. And the longer you walk, the more calories you burn. So that's a really good one. I recommend it for a lot of people. So, there's others, but I'll give you, the best really thing is this. I mean, the big picture is doing cardiovascular training and add some strength training. That is the ideal exercise program for weight loss and for optimal health, functionality, everything. 2 reasons why. The cardiovascular things like the walking, running, swimming, Zumba classes, step classes, the benefits, obviously they train the heart to get the heart stronger, which is important. Your heart's the most important organ in your body, important muscle. It pumps out blood, it pumps out nutrients and oxygen to all your muscles. That gives you energy and also reduces your chance for heart disease, which is still the #1 killer in the United States. So it burns a lot of calories for that 30, 40, 50, or 60 minutes. A lot of benefits there with the cardio stuff. Then you add the strength training, and I'm not talking about, you don't need to be spending, an hour or 2 hours in the weight room for this. You do 30 minutes of weight training or strength training 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to get a lot of benefits. One of them is going to be your metabolism will speed up. We talked about that earlier. As you build muscle, your metabolism goes faster and faster over time. The more muscle, because muscle is metabolically a lot more active than fat tissue. Fat tissue just sits there and says, just get me bigger. Those cells are just saying, screaming for more, feed me, I want to get bigger. But the muscle cells are really active and they require a lot of energy to keep them healthy. So that's good. So they require more energy. So the more muscle you have on you, your body's metabolism and basically idling speeds up. So you burn calories 24/7 a lot more than someone who's sedentary and has more fat weight on them. But that's one benefit for weight loss that's really good, for the strength training, but also for functionality, to function better, to live better, to play with your kids, grandkids. You can do more things. You have less chance of injury. When your framework is stronger by strength training, you train those muscles and it supports the skeletal system and you have less chance for injuries as well. And which is another benefit. Less chances when we do cardio and strength training as well. Less chances for hypertension. It can help reduce hypertension. Less chance for diabetes as well. It helps the insulin work better. So there's many, many benefits with doing both of them. And as far as cardio, do those as many days as you want to a week. Strength training, you can do 2, ideally 3 times a week for 30 minutes. That's all you need. You can get a great workout for lower body, do your upper body, some core work. You got it made. So again, see if you have professional staff or some exercise center, it'd be helpful. Or I can talk about this in another Zoom session. We'll see what happens. See what the bosses say. Okay. Now the big question is why is this? Well, I kind of mentioned that earlier. It boosts metabolism. We do strength training. And here's the news. For after age 30, I mentioned this too, every decade our metabolism gets slower by about 2 to 5% every decade. Our bodies just start slowing down. 30 to 40 to 50, they just slow down. But you can fight that with cardiovascular training and strength training. I've been in the fitness center business, for years. I've seen a lot of, people in their 50s and 60s that are rock solid because they're consistently working out. They do their cardio, they do strength training on a regular basis, and they look great for being 50, 60 plus years old. I should know I'm in that bracket. So anyway, I tried. Fighting aging is the other benefit we've got to realize. You've got to talk about that. Fighting aging is also a big benefit for exercise. So adding muscle is great, but again, cutting back on calories is important. Here's what you don't want to do. I've seen this before where some people will say, individuals, they'll go, well, I'll start exercising after I lose the weight. So they just diet, they cut back, the calories, they eat like basically a sparrow. Hardly any calories are coming in. They're just cutting back on calories and they're not exercising. What happens then is you can lose weight that way by cutting back and just dieting alone without exercise. But let's say you lose 10 pounds. Of those 10 pounds, 8 of those pounds are going to be probably muscle weight. And you do not want to lose muscle weight because what happens then, after those 10 pounds of mostly muscle loss, your metabolism is actually slower than it was when you were 10 pounds heavier. So you're just going backwards. You're going backwards. You've got to do both, is cut back on the calorie and then exercise at the same time to get the optimal results that will keep you healthy and alive and have a lot of energy. So that's just another little advice there. Having a strategy is the biggest hurdle I see, for trying to exercise is the 4-letter word we hate to see as fitness professionals is TIME, time. It's a big hurdle, and what I suggest people is, they say, I don't have time. I said, well, if you're really serious about this, you got to make time to exercise. And that may be getting up at 5:30 in the morning to get something done or going a bit later in the evening. It's tough with schedule with kids and stuff. It is difficult, but, this morning I worked out up in Conway at the fitness center, and there was probably about 50 or 60 people at 5 a.m. There's getting it done from high school kids to grandmas. So they just made it time to do it. I go, if they can do it, other people can do it, but it's not easy for a lot of people, especially morning time, because morning time seems to be the time to get it done, and it's over with, but everyone's got their own time schedule. But the key that I said is making a time, set a time like you're making a dental appointment, a hairdressing appointment, is set that into your schedule, maybe like on a Sunday, is look throughout the week, say when I can squeeze that in. If you can't do a big block of time, do your 10-minute walk, 20-minute walk, come back, do your work, come back after work, maybe do another walk, so you can kind of mix it up just to get that time in. Another thing to remember, something is better than nothing when it comes to exercise and movement. Something is better than nothing. Don't feel like a failure if you only got a 20-minute walk in and you wanted to go 40. It's okay. It all adds up. The scheduling is important to get it done. Be accountable to yourself. It's all about you. I tell people, some of my clients in my classes, I'll say, you can be selfish for 1 hour a day because it's all about you and trying to be healthy. So you can be selfish for that hour to take care of yourself, because if you don't, eventually your body's going to break down. You're going to have problems. You have injuries. You go to the hospital, maybe more at the clinic, and have, when you exercise, your immune system gets a lot stronger as well. So another benefit is you're sick less. You can get by with less sleep than else. People are pretty sedentary and not that active. So there's other benefits that tie in this whole thing of eating better and exercising. In 1 week, you've got 210 45-minute blocks of time. There's 210 45-minute blocks of time in 1 week. So hopefully you can squeeze in a couple of those within the course of 1 week. So it all starts with here. It starts with the mind, and everything else seems to follow through. Get your mind going. I want to do this thing, and it works. And getting workout partners, another strategy is find someone to walk with or go to the gym with. It makes a huge difference having a partner. Sometimes you can say no man is an island when it comes to fitness and exercise. It's true for some. Some people do like being a soloist, but if you're just starting out from scratch, it helps have a workout buddy or find someone, a neighbor to walk with, or someone at church. Somebody to say, hey, let's go for a walk, or let's go to the gym together. It's accountability and motivation tied into one social setting. So it's kind of a social thing and a fitness setting at the same time. Taking a group exercise class is another option. Accountability there too. People will say after a while, hey, where you been? We missed you, because they keep track. I teach an indoor cycling class, and I know who's missing because I'm the teacher. But they all know from each other after being there regularly, they know who was not there. They kind of worry after a while, hey, you weren't there. And it just helps mentally to have that boost. There was someone supporting you and trying to encourage you, have that support in whether it be in a fitness center or a neighborhood walk, whatever. Adding variety is another good strategy. A lot of times I'll see people doing the same thing. It's a so-so syndrome. Same old, on the treadmill like a robot every day, treadmill, nothing else. And try the elliptical. Try this program. Try a 10-10-10 plan. Do the treadmill for 10. Go to the elliptical for 10 minutes. Then maybe go on a bike for 10. Then go maybe on the rowing machine for 5 or 10. Mix it up to add variety. It works different muscle groups, and it just fights that boredom of doing the same thing. people are on the treadmill, or I should say the treadmill sometimes, you get over that treadmill syndrome. I go, to make that thing more exciting, if there is such a thing, instead of putting it at always 0% or 1, is every minute try to go to like maybe a 3 or 4 or 5% grade, bring it down for a minute, then go up again. So have these intervals throughout the course of the workout on the treadmill. Just to add for variety, it works different muscles. Same thing on the elliptical. You can go, add some resistance, go fast for a minute, slow down, go fast. Just mix it up instead of doing the same thing all the time. Music helps as well. We all know that music helps a lot for getting through the workout. I couldn't do it without it. I could not exist on a treadmill without music. So classes help. Go back to the food section now. Read via food label reader is very essential. What's in that food product? What's in the food product? We've got a lot of information on those things. Main thing I look at is calories, and then if you're on high blood pressure, if you're hypertensive, you look at sodium as well. But in general, guys, for just a general discussion, I like to advocate an athletic diet: 60% carbs, 20 fat, 20% protein. I know there's still a lot of this anti-carb thing that's going out there. Carbohydrates are the enemy. They're bad for you. You're going to gain weight more readily with carbohydrate intake. That is not true. The enemy is too many calories. I don't care what they're coming from. When you got too many calories coming in, the scales are going to be like opposite. If you take too much of anything and you don't exercise enough, your weight's going to go up. So it's the total calories that count, but within that 60-20-20 plan, most of those carbohydrates should be complex carbs, which are the healthier ones that have more minerals, there's more fiber, more just overall nutrients. Example, brown rice instead of white rice. Whole wheat bread versus just white bread, it makes a big difference. Those are complex. You've got beans are wonderful. All beans are good. You got fruits and vegetables, whole wheat spaghetti. Those are all good examples of whole grain products that have got fiber in them. They fill you up more, so you don't eat as much. You take a couple pieces of white bread versus whole wheat bread. The whole wheat bread will fill you up much more readily than the white bread, with the same number of calories, because there's just more fiber in it. So again, look at labels, makes a big difference what's in that, and look for like this morning, my talked about breakfast before. Breakfast. I had, usually it's cereal, like I had grape nuts, I had some bran flakes together. I mean, it's boring, but it's healthy. Then I added some yogurt, some blackberries, and some banana all with it. So it's a big pile of fiber with some fruit in it, and that's basically every day because it gives me energy. When you wake up in the morning, it's like a gas tank. When you don't eat breakfast, I know a tangent, sorry, but I can't help it. The glucose, your gas level is like low. The gasoline tank is on empty when you wake up in the morning. So you got to get something in your system to get going, and that's what a good breakfast with some carbs and protein works wonders. And then, as I said, no, there's no bad thing. It's fruits and vegetables. They're all good. I mean, there's no bad one. Go for color. Grapes, the oranges, the grapefruit, bananas, kiwi. They're all great. They're no bad things. Just having a good variety is really essential. The calories, there's not many calories, but there's a lot of fiber, antioxidants. Here's a little side tip on grapes. Here's a lesson on grapes. In case you're interested, I know you're listening, so I hope you are. Grapes, as far as antioxidants, the black grapes are number 1. Red grapes are in second place, and then the green or whitish ones, they're like in third place when it comes to antioxidants. They're all good for you, the grapes, but as far as antioxidant level, the black ones are best. We think that's what we talk about with wine consumption, helping your HDL level and cholesterol. Well, they're made from grapes, so that's what I suggest for if you want to improve your HDL levels of cholesterol. A glass of Merlot or some red wine is helpful actually to boost your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. But that's another lecture. Okay, we'll continue. There's a lot of more lectures to come, I think. So keeping a journal is really helpful. I've been keeping a journal, my running journal, for like 30 years. I don't do the computer. I'm old school. I just have my little, it used to be the Jim Fix book, but just a diary that says every day, ran 7 miles, felt great, weather was so-and-so. Just the fact that you write that down, what you did every day, helps the brain to say, basically, I did it, I didn't skip. It's like you against yourself. I've won that war about skipping. When you write it down, it does something to the brain. You actually write it down and a pen or type it in. It's really helpful. And you're looking back over time. Gee whiz, 3 months ago, I could only do 20 minutes. Now I'm doing 40 minutes. So you can look back in that journal and see how you've progressed over time as well. Food journal is tougher to do, but just try it for 3 days and write what you eat, everything for 3 days, and look at it. You can see, I think, some of the weak areas, the snacking, things like that possibly, that you see, man, I'm eating more than I think I do. A lot of people do. They will say, God, I'm eating a lot more than I think I do. And it happens all the time. So those are similar, it's worth a try in those journals. Again, variety too, I've mentioned this before, just variety, mix it up, try the group exercise classes. It's 70 degrees outside and I still see some people on the treadmill. I go, please people, get out on the outside if it's safe to do so. Go outside and get some sunshine, some vitamin D, and explore the outdoors sometimes just to get out of the same old syndrome because of being inside in a fitness center. So it helps, believe me. Just these little things make a big, big, big difference. And again, exercise because you love your body, not because you hate it. It's a good addiction. Getting active is a good addiction, but the good news is you don't have to require being in the gym for an hour and a half every day. You can do it in your neighborhood. You can walk. You can do a strength training program at home without much equipment. There's options everywhere. The whole thing is making good choices with food, how much you're eating, and trying to get active and put it all together and working together. That's how you lose the weight in a safe and effective way. Maybe 1 or 2 pounds a week is probably the best thing to do, as well. So again, consistency, that's the key to this whole thing to success. It's like the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady pace usually wins the race. Life is motion. If you're moving, you're improving, and something is better than nothing. So remember that. If I didn't remember anything for this lecture, remember that one. Now, thank you for your attention.